Was Nkwameh Nkrumah a prophet? I don't think Nkwameh Nkrumah was just only a freedom fighter. I think he was a prophet, because after listening to his speech, everything he said in this speech, we are seeing it now. Everything. And just as with God, whenever he wants to make a change, he raises prophets. It's now left to the people to take what the prophet is saying and to believe the prophet as somebody that has been sent and escape the consequences. But if the people somehow neglect the prophet, they are going to bear the consequences. So I'm going to play this audio clip, which was a speech that Nkwameh Nkrumah made, and I want you all to get what he said here. All right, here we go.
Long live African freedom fighters. Long live African independence. Long live your struggle. And long live African unity.
Everything he said.
Here is a phenomenon
we are seeing it now.
Against which all African freedom fighters must be on their guard and resist to the utmost. We must begin to build immediately our own continental common market. For it is easy for anyone who studies the common market organization closely to realize that the common market is aimed at harnessing the African countries to satisfy the profit lust of the imperialist bloc and to prevent us from following an independent neutralist policy. It is easy to see that the imperialists and the colonialists are determined to retain the African countries in the position of suppliers of cheap raw materials. If we do not resist this threat, and if we throw in our lot with the common market, we shall doom the economy of Africa to a state of perpetual subjection to the economy of Western Europe. This will, of course, hinder the industrialization of our young African states. It is impossible to think of economic development and national independence without possessing an unfettered capacity for maintaining a strong industrial power. This is another reason why we should come together in a unified African economic plan, which, operating on a continental scale, can make a solid attack on the imperialist domination in Africa. We should, without delay, aim at the creation of a joint African military command. There is little wisdom in our present separate effort to build up and maintain defense forces, which, in any case...
Now, I believe all of our black freedom fighters that has come up from different areas of the world, I believe they were prophets. Martin Luther and Malcolm X from the African diaspora, African Americans, all what they said, they basically said the same thing. Marcus Garvey from the Caribbean, they said the same thing. Nkwame Nkrumah, everybody, all of our freedom fighters, they are basically saying the same thing: African unity. It's like they already knew what will happen in the future, so they were warning us now.
Would be ineffective in a major world conflict. If we examine this problem realistically, we would ask, which single African state could protect itself against an imperialist aggressor? And how much more difficult this would be when some states are allowing the imperialists to maintain bases on their territories. Only our unity can provide us with anything like adequate protection. Those problems can best be met within a unified Africa. And it should be possible in the higher reaches of our endeavor to devise a constitutional structure which will secure the objectives I have outlined, and yet preserve the sovereignty of each of the countries joining the Union.
And brothers and sisters, there you have it. That was a speech our own Nkwame Nkrumah did. And if you listen closely, you are going to realize that every single thing that he said, we are now facing it today. Yes, we are now facing it today. And it is now, these are the things that we have come to the realization that this is what is going to give us our true freedom. But he said it. We already had people from back that told us, they were like, you guys need to do this, is the right step for us to go. If you don't do this now, this is going to be the consequences. If you don't follow this road, you are going to face these consequences. Now, at the time, many of us were like, let's just forget about it. We want to be united, we want to go with the West, we want to forget about this man. But it is right now that we are seeing the consequences of everything that our freedom fighters slash prophets were saying. The same thing goes to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, even some of our African musicians like Bob Marley. They were passing out a message across in their songs. They had voices like a mother deep in the desert crying for a child, like she has seen everything that's going to happen and she's crying for a child that do this or else you are going to face the consequences. So this is just a message that I said let me pass across today. For me, I think Nkwame Nkrumah was not just a freedom fighter, but he was also a prophet. So tell me what you all think below in the comment section, and please make sure you share the video and subscribe to the channel.